With our Mary Alice Parks. And Mary Alice, Virginia is, of course, a state that Trump is hoping he can win in November. And a lot of that will depend on just how enthusiastic voters are about Joe Biden. What are they telling you?
Yeah, one political operative, longtime Virginia political operative, put it this way to me, Lindsay. He said they know that there are diehard Trump voters. They are worried there's not diehard Biden voters. A lot of Democratic voters sound resigned to the idea of voting for the president, especially somewhere very purple, very swingy like Virginia. I mean, Biden did so well here in 2020, but just 1 year after, the Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin was able to win, and he did that by making huge inroads with suburban voters, with college-educated voters, swinging them back to the Republican Party. Now, it is telling, though, that Youngkin, the Republican governor here, did that by keeping Trump at arm's length. He was seen as sort of a model of how Republicans could win in a purple state. But if Trump is, in fact, the nominee, well, I can tell you Democrats really breathing a sigh of relief around that idea. Democrats come back to this idea that even if people aren't enthusiastic about Biden, they'll turn out to vote against Trump. And in my conversations with voters from South Carolina to Pennsylvania, that is what I found. Take a listen.
Ma'am, would you like to go drink?
Politics is in Brian Gray's blood. A campaign time capsule on the walls of his Railroad Barbecue restaurant honoring his dad's activism.
He liked helping people, and he wanted to be a voice for the people.
A South Carolina resident, Brian tends to vote for Democrats. But 8 months until a likely 2020 rematch between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, he's disappointed in the Democratic Party.
I need to see them, making more of a connection with the people in the community. I do want to see some of those things done. Student loan, the student loan plan, I want to see that done. I want to see healthcare overhauled. Inflation
is hurting his business, and he feels there's a long list of unkept promises.
You want to do ribs and pulled chicken?
If Nikki Haley were to be the Republican nominee,
I'm not going anywhere.
Unlikely at this point, he would consider voting for her. But if it's Trump on the ballot again in November, that would get him out for Biden. Are you worried that young voters are not going to show up?
Not going to show up. I am worried young voters are not going to show up. I don't think they're in touch with politics.
What do you think is going to get people out? What's going to be a deciding factor?
I think if it's Trump, Biden, it'll get people out. If people that don't want to see Trump back in office again.
In a Biden-Trump rematch, swinging independents will matter, but voters will have long-held views of both candidates. And right now, many voters simply think both are too old. The most recent ABC Ipsos poll finding 86% think Biden is too old to run again. 62% think Trump is. So as with most elections, and especially for Joe Biden, motivating the base of the Democratic Party to turn out will be crucial. We're here in downtown Philadelphia. This is a solid blue area, the kinds of places that Joe Biden needs to do well in. And we're actually going to be at an event where the city commissioners are trying to register students to vote.
Hi. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Philly.
Hey, look at your necklace. You're ready to go.
Ready to go.
What's the goal for today?
The goal for today is basically just let these young people know the importance of voting. Want to just keep the energy level high.
It's a tough sell.
The interest of the world, of the nation, is on Philadelphia, on Pennsylvania, and on our young people. The world's looking at you. Your vote matters.
So just one of each one. Right, each one's these four.
I asked the students about the president. Do you think the fact that he's so old will discourage some young people from coming out to vote?
Definitely. Just because, if you can't get your words out in your statement that you wrote down, I can't really trust you.
What would Democrats or Joe Biden need to do to win you over?
Push more progressive change, making healthcare a bit more affordable. Just make things more livable for people.
Biden won Pennsylvania by roughly 80,000 votes in 2020. His margin of victory here in Philadelphia County, 471,000 votes. Will Philadelphia help send him back to the White House? What are the changes in your community that you'd like to see?
I want to see the streets being more clean. I also want schools to get more money so we can work on things for better education, get kids to actually want to come to school, do their work.
You said that you feel like you normally lean towards the Democratic Party, skeptical of President Biden. What would Democrats have to do to convince you of him?
Convince me of Biden? Actually do what they're saying that they're going to do, not the unbroken promises. Like if you say you're going to fix the communities, give out more funding to certain things, actually I want to see the change.
In Michigan last week, a glaring warning sign for President Biden. Over 100,000 Democratic voters in that key battleground state turning out to protest Biden. Roughly 13% choosing uncommitted in the state's primary, making clear Biden could lose that state in November. But back in South Carolina, students who run college Democratic organizations across the state push back and tell me, despite his age, they are ready to go to bat for their guy.
We feel the effects of what he's been passing in Washington, the bipartisan efforts, and most importantly, we feel more seen from Washington.
From reproductive rights to gun safety, these college Democrats tell me if Biden gets his message out, young people will come around.
These concerns, for instance, about Joe Biden's age, some of this unpopularity among more progressive people, we got to acknowledge, these aren't new. I feel like the America that we strive to be, an inclusive America, a just America, and an equitable America. And I feel like that's what Joe Biden and his campaign represents. And there's no doubt in my mind that people are going to choose that America over the America of Donald Trump, over the America of January 6th, of constant madness and chaos.
Mary Alice, you have been out on the trail. It sounds like really when it comes to young voters in particular that both sides aren't necessarily happy with their options.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I spoke to so many young voters who are just frustrated. They want to see that generational change. They want different options. They do view Donald Trump as a divider, though. So many young people who told me they were not inspired by the current president, by President Biden, they would come out to place a protest vote against Trump. But will they come out in the same numbers that Biden needs to keep that traditional Democratic coalition together? That is a big question. Democrats know they have to work on that and that they have a lot of work to do. Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.